Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. We have our Week 11 Sunday games to go through now, so we're going to go through those one by one, so let's get into it. For our next matchup, you have the LA Chargers going to Jacksonville, where the Chargers are favored on the money line with a spread of 3 points and a total line of 43.5. Here's your averages to compare to our rankings. And getting into those, you have the Chargers with pretty good rankings overall. Some of the worst are the scoring rank and the allowed rushing rank. Everything else is about top third, especially with a passing rank of 5, allowed passing rank of 6, rushing rank of 10, tight end rank of 9. So they're pretty good across the board, just with a few places where they're about average. With Jacksonville, it's a much different story where everything's much more close to average or maybe below average. Your offense is maybe just about average with a scoring rank of 18, passing rank of 19, rushing rank of 14. Defensively, you're pretty bad with an allowed scoring rank of 20, with an allowed passing rank of 28, allowed rushing rank of 5, so they are much better at stopping the rush than anything else, but still an allowed tight end rank of 29. Looking at the quarterbacks, you have Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Herbert gets an average of 20.3 fantasy points per game, while Trevor Lawrence gets an average of 15.9. Herbert's had 8 passing interceptions this season, with 1 rushing fumble, and Trevor Lawrence has had 7 interceptions this season, 1 fumble lost due to a sack, and 1 rushing fumble. Flipping over to their averages, along with looking at their breakdowns, you have Justin Herbert at 19.9% of the team's total rushing carry share, which comes out to about 26.8% of the team's total rushing yard share. Trevor Lawrence gets about 19.6% of the team's total rushing carry share as well, but only gets about 17.3% of the team's total rushing yard share. For our running backs in this game, you have Kamani Vidal and Travis Etienne, with Vidal getting about 10.5 fantasy points per game and Etienne averaging 13.7. No turnovers have been given up by either running back, so we'll look at their averages and their carry share, with Vidal getting about 35.5% of the team's total carry share right now. Part of that is because Hampton's been out, and they've had a few other people move around to try to rush the ball, but he is starting to come out as the top leader right now. You also have him at 33.4% of the team's total rushing yard share. For Travis, he gets about 60.3% of the team's total rushing carry share, and that equates to about 66.1% of the team's total rushing yard share. Getting into the receiving part of our game, you have Ladd McConkey and Brian Thomas Jr., with Ladd McConkey getting an average of 13.8 fantasy points per game this season, and Brian Thomas getting an average of 10.7. Again, with no turnovers, we'll go straight to the averages and look at their breakdowns, with Ladd McConkey getting a target share of 24.9% of the team's total targets, and a receiving share of 25.7%. For Brian Thomas, he gets 17.7% of the team's total targets, and about 19.1% of the team's total receiving yards. Even though that's pretty small for the number 1 receiver, we can see that it's pretty spread out throughout all these different players, so there's a lot of different options that Jacksonville goes to. For the number 2 receivers, you have Keenan Allen and Jacoby Myers, with Allen averaging 13 fantasy points per game, and Jacoby Myers about 9.4. Once again, no turnovers between these players, so we'll just go straight to the averages. For Keenan Allen, he gets about 24.9% of the team's total target share, which comes out to 21.9% of the team's total receiving year share. It does appear that Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey share the exact same amount of targets, and both share the largest target share. However, it looks like Ladd McConkey's a little bit more efficient in his receiving yard share. For Jacoby Myers, he's now on the board since he got traded just recently. So now with the team, he has about 15.4% of the team's total target share, which equates to about 17.9% of the team's total receiving yard share. Wrapping up with the tight ends, you have Gadsden and Johnny Munt because you have Hunter Long listed as out. So Gadsden averages 11.5 fantasy points per game. Johnny Munt averages about 1.3. There's been 1 turnover that comes from Gadsden with a receiving fumble. So now looking at our averages and the breakdowns, you get Gadsden with about 13.7% of the team's target share, equating to about 19% of the team's total receiving yard share. Johnny Munt's numbers are cut off here, but we can see those slices are very small, so probably about 3 to 5% and a little less on the receiving yard share, maybe about 2%. So for your numbers in this game, it looks like the Chargers are leaning towards the lead. They have some better numbers across the board. For one, their allowed scoring rank, preventing Jacksonville, who doesn't have quite as good of a scoring rank. They're better at passing against a team that's not very good at stopping the pass. You have a team that's pretty average at stopping the rush against a team that's okay at rushing. So offensively, Jacksonville doesn't have very much that can go against the Chargers defense here. And the Chargers' offensive numbers here seem to overpower Jacksonville's numbers. So it would just seem that it's still the Chargers game. And there's your numbers for that game. I hope that you found it useful. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe. And otherwise, comment on what else you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you for the next matchup.